Hi everyone, my name is Mr. Fruit, and welcome to today's video where I wanted to tell you all how my YouTube journey began, how it failed, and most importantly, how I got to where I am today. I also want to share my thoughts and feelings after doing this gig for over a decade, and update you all on where I'm at in life and the surgery I'm about to undergo. And I want to address that, yes, I will be reading from a script today because I have a lot to say, and if I tried to recall it all from memory, this video would drag on for eternity. I've been known to ramble. Now, it all began on my very first YouTube channel, called A Bowl of Fruit, which also happened to be my Xbox gamer tag at the time. Now, my first YouTube video was nothing special. It's literally me testing my first ever rendered gameplay, followed by far too many Call of Duty and FPS commentaries that are nothing short of cringe.
What's up, guys? It's your favorite kind of fruit, a bowl of fruit. What I came here to talk about were dreams. We all dream. I mean, I hope most of us do. Everything in our mind is just firing like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
What was bro yapping about? Then along came my first video to ever gain some real traction. A weapon/guide review for one of my favorite games ever, and a hidden gem, Gotham City Imposters.
The Bear Stalker, a bow and arrow makeshift gun, has a good average across the board, taking note of its high damage, accuracy, and range.
In a different world, I might have stuck to this sort of video content style and became a wannabe dado. Now, I did do all the graphics and animations myself, which at the time I was proud of, and I still think I did pretty well. Now, I uploaded a little over 100 videos on this channel over the course of about 2 years before finally calling it quits at the end of August 2013. I just graduated high school and was preparing to move to college, and had finally accepted that my dream of becoming a full-time YouTuber was just not meant to be. However, I would go to upload one last video a couple months later, and it would be A Bowl of Fruit's last upload ever, uploaded on January 29th, 2014, titled A New Chapter for My YouTube Career.
The important thing is, I'm here to announce something. I'm moving channels. No longer am I going to be posting on this channel, A Bowl of Fruit. I'm going to be moving to my new YouTube channel called Mr. Fruit.
I had announced I was moving channels and rebranding to Mr. Fruit instead of A Bowl of Fruit. It's provocative. Now, I'll be honest, after my first semester of college, I fell into a very deep depression. Even after returning from winter break, I would only ever venture out to attend classes before returning to my dorm room, isolating myself from anyone and everything for an entire month. Just ask my now wife, who at the time was confused along with all my other friends as to why I had completely disappeared. But something finally helped me to shrug off the overwhelming sense of dread and despair, and allowed me to reconnect with all my friends and make actual human interaction and contact yet again. But additionally, I'd found a renewed passion to make more YouTube videos. I decided I was gonna give it one more go. One more chance to give it my absolute all. I didn't want to live with any regret, thinking about what if or what could have been, so I challenged myself to upload every day for an entire month. And I did, for 37 videos, in fact. And this is where you're expecting to hear that, oh, it all paid off, how I hit it big and I never looked back, and to be so inspired. And you would be wrong. I stopped uploading after that 37th video, after seeing little to no traction again, and finally accepting once and for all that YouTube just wasn't where my future was going. Except this time, I gave it my all and I regretted nothing. I had fun doing it, which was the most important thing, and I was ready to move on with the rest of my life. Now you're probably thinking, yeah, okay, but here you are today telling us this story, so obviously things didn't end that way. And yeah, you'd be right, but me at the time didn't have the slightest idea of what was to come, and at the time I had no intention of ever making another YouTube video again. Enter my sophomore year of college. Over summer break, I'd become the luckiest man in the world when I began dating Claire, my now wonderful wife. In fact, we just celebrated being together for 10 years. I'd returned to college and was trying to enjoy life to its fullest, although I began finding that rather difficult to do. I was lost, I hated college, hated the pressure of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life at such a young age, and hated how helpless I felt. And it didn't help that near the beginning of the semester, I was diagnosed with mono, and it was brutal. I could hardly drag myself to class before returning to my dorm and sleeping all day. I was struggling so much that a counselor suggested I take the semester off to fully recover and to avoid falling behind in my academics. But that was the last thing I wanted. Missing out on a whole semester and falling behind all of my friends and peers? Nah. So I pressed on, and this is where things take an unlikely turn of events. September 9th, 2014. Bungie releases their new highly anticipated game, Destiny. You might have heard of it. As a Halo fan growing up, I couldn't wait to see what Bungie's next game would be, and considering I was stuck lying in bed, I had a lot of free time to do nothing but grind Destiny. And grind I did. Not alone, mind you. My good friend Rob was attending the same college as me, and we were both huge Halo fans, equally excited to play. So we grinded together. And I did this for a little over 2 months straight. Go to class, play Destiny, spend time with Claire, and little to nothing else. But as I spent all this time playing and being unable to do anything else, because my mono stuck around for months due to pushing myself, meaning the recovery process lasted a long time, which is why they had initially encouraged me to take the semester off, I couldn't help but think of other things I could do to pass the time. It was then that I'd found out that my friend Arios, some of you might know him, whom I had met online when I first started making YouTube videos during high school, had continued to upload and make videos after I'd called it quits, and he'd found some real success. He was seeing numbers we had only dreamed of together. He had somewhere around 30,000 subscribers at the time and averaging 10,000 plus views a video. He had made it, and that's when it hit me. Why not make some more YouTube videos? I'm already stuck inside and playing a lot of games, so why not try to creatively challenge myself in the meantime? If I stopped having fun, then I would stop making videos, because I didn't pretend myself into thinking it would become a full-time job after all this time. So, on November 17th, 2014, I returned to uploading on Mr. Fruit. I uploaded a variety of games since that's what I always wanted to do. But among the few different things I had uploaded, one of them managed to do really well. Now, really well is subjective. To where I was at that time, I had about maybe 1,000 subscribers and was lucky to get like 100 to 200 views a video. But I noticed that a video I made in Destiny 1 about a certain gun called Thorn had over 2,000 views. So I said, screw it. I'll upload more Destiny 1 videos. If I'm not at class or making videos, I'm playing Destiny, so why not? Something had stuck, so I decided to run with it. I then moved to uploading almost exclusively Destiny 1 content. But see, my channel still hadn't taken off. I was maybe averaging a few thousand views per video, which I was more than ecstatic about at the time. But no, it wasn't until December 18th that I would upload the video that would forever change my life. My first Destiny commercial.
There's a few things you should look for in a gun. 1. Sexiness. Check. A gun that never loses a 1v1 situation. Check. And most importantly, a gun with a low skill cap. Check.
I'd actually prepared this video and a couple others to upload while I spent a weekend road trip traveling with my family. Funnily enough, this specific video was made last second, and I vividly remember thinking it was a dumb idea and that nobody was going to like it. It wasn't until the next day, when I was in the car in the middle of our road trip, that I received a call from my good friend Corey. He asked if I had seen the views on my most recent upload, and I told him that I hadn't. I didn't have any way to check the internet, I barely had service to take the call, and wouldn't be able to until we make it to the hotel. That's when he excitedly told me it was currently at 40,000 views. And I didn't believe him. There was just no way. It had to be a prank. It wasn't until I arrived to the hotel at that night that I was able to open my YouTube channel to see that that video was now at over 70,000 views. I swear to God, I knew I found him. I was so confused as to why this was happening in this video, but I wasn't going to complain. Found out it had been posted to the official Destiny subreddit and had hit the front page. This was my big break. As soon as I returned, I doubled down. I continued the Destiny 1 content, the commercials, and came up with various other different formats and series, such as my 60-second reviews. The rest is history. I uploaded every day, without missing a day for years. I even began to do daily uploads to incorporate variety content alongside regular Destiny content so that viewers couldn't complain that the variety was taken away from the usual Destiny videos. In 2016, I dropped out of college to pursue YouTube full-time. I uploaded or double uploaded every day until 2019, where I officially dialed it back to be single daily uploads. Since then, the channel, the content, the upload schedule, and more have seen frequent changes. From Destiny to Overwatch, Titanfall, indie games, party games, Call of Duty, Among Us, and so much more. After a couple months of uploading nothing but Destiny at the beginning, I began to incorporate more and more of this variety. And while the variety was never as popular as the bigger, broader, mostly AAA games, it's what kept me sane and what I enjoy the most. The channel has seen many different stages, whether it be games or content, highs and lows, and the evolution of myself as not just a person, but as a YouTuber, alongside the entire content creation ecosystem. And that leaves us where we are today. I've launched over 5 additional channels adjacent to Mr. Fruit, uploaded over 4,917 videos, gained over 2 million subscribers, and surpassed 1 billion views. Not to mention the thousands of hours I've streamed on Twitch, but most of you know me as a YouTuber first and foremost, and I do too. But what about outside of content creation? Since starting YouTube, I've graduated high school, enrolled in, and years later dropped out of college, married the love of my life, got our 2 adorable corgis, Olive and Appa, moved 3 times, bought and owned my first home, watched those around me get married or grow in their own meaningful ways, made new friends, traveled internationally for the first time, raised money for charities, got diagnosed with ADHD, continued my mental health journey to work on my depression, got my physical well-being on track by eating better and consistently going to the gym, and so much more. It's been wild to look back and think where I was and where I am today. 10 years ago, today, if I were to tell myself this is where we'd end up, myself, I would have laughed. It's unreal, and I couldn't be luckier or more thankful. So why am I sharing all of this with you today? Since, to be fair, this channel's 10-year anniversary was January 31st of this year. Well, that's because I've been reflecting on this crazy journey more lately. A lot of that has to do actually with Destiny 2's recent release of the final shape. For those who aren't aware, this recent expansion concluded the narrative that Destiny has been telling for the last decade. And it wasn't until I finished it all that it hit me. It wasn't so much a specific moment or event, but the culmination, realizing that this part of the game is coming to a close or an end, and in many ways, I've felt the same about where I'm at in content creation for some time. Now, I don't mean to scare you into thinking I'm quitting, or something like that, because I'm not. I plan to continue making videos for the foreseeable future. While avoiding any sort of spoilers for Destiny 2 and the final shape, I'll just loosely reference ideas or quotes that specifically resonated with me. It was the sacrifice of one character who wanted to go out on their own terms, and in turn, getting to decide their own fate. This character also has some voice lines you hear later, and where they talk about looking for purpose in their life and ultimately realizing, quote, "I'm here for a good time, not a long time." I myself have been asking a lot of these questions recently, both in and outside of content creation, but I'll keep it mostly to YouTube and this career. I felt like I don't know where I fit into this current creation space anymore, and that I don't know what purpose I serve, that perhaps makes me different from somebody else. The YouTube and content creation sphere as a whole has changed and evolved dramatically compared to where it was when I first started, and as a person, I've done the same. Because of this, I've felt at times sad, aimless, defeated, distraught, panicked, and much more. I got really stirred when it became evident that this character finally found their purpose, and with it, seemingly peace and comfort. But again, what really did me in was the quote, "I'm here for a good time, not a long time." I never thought I'd be doing this for as long as I have, full time for 10 years, and recently it's felt like this chapter in my life might be coming to an end. Not because I want it to, but because it has to. It's no secret that the channel has seen a slow downward trend over the past 4 years. I've tried to no avail to reverse these effects, and in doing so, perhaps making it worse. I may never know, but I do know how much I still love making content and videos that I can share with all of you. Now, I know one day I won't be doing this anymore, and Mr. Fruit will fade to obscurity. It's not a secret, it's an inevitability for almost everyone doing what I do, but lately I've just been dwelling on it more. It feels like I've been offered 2 choices to move forward, continue doing what I've done for so long, slowly declining in viewers until I'm forced to or ultimately decide that it's time to pack it up, while the other choice feels like it's a matter of trying and pushing to evolve and adapt to the ever-changing and growing content creation ecosystem in an attempt to find and catch new audiences, but in doing so, not guaranteeing any success and possibly losing those who have watched and supported me for so long. Truth be told, that's where my headspace has been for a long time. And in the past few months, you can see that I've been trying to do a bit of a hybrid. I've been taking a different approach to my content where instead of quantity, trying to make content that is more focused, higher effort, and higher quality. And it's been tough for me. I think some of the videos I've made recently, don't get me wrong, have been some of the best I've ever made. I'm really proud. But the results don't necessarily reflect the dramatic increase in time and effort, as well as the strain it's taken on me. I'm not very good at bigger pictures or looking towards the future. I can barely manage my day-to-day, which is why I always enjoyed variety content, because it's always changing things up and because I can spend a very small focus burst on a certain video or game that turn into a final product, and I subsequently move on to something new, sometimes even in the same day. You might think it's silly that I'm talking about all this, given that I have over 2 million subscribers and 1 billion views. But that's just it. I still feel like I'm trying to figure out how to navigate YouTube all these years later. I don't have the answer. And it's evident that I was in a particularly lucky spot before. At the peak of my channel's growth came a time where what I like to do, want to do, and am good at perfectly aligned with YouTube. Then it became apparent, more so these last few years, that that's no longer the case, and I've been left a little clueless. I also do just want to address, since I'll be talking about where my headspace is at now, and it might sound like everything's down, I want to mention how blessed and amazing this adventure has been up until now, and I wouldn't trade the highs or lows for anything. I've had so much fun this past decade. I've done so many things I thought I never would, afforded so many opportunities I never thought possible, and given a reason to frankly wake up every morning. I remember the milestones and journey to where I am now, and sharing them all with my wife, who never for 1 second judged me or doubted me. She was always my #1 fan and always there to support me. She's even got some great photos from when the channel first started to gain traction and some of the early subscriber milestones. It's still so weird to look back at me without a beard. Doesn't feel right. So with that out of the way, I feel like I still don't have the answer to this YouTube problem, but I felt at least I owed it to myself to fully lean into this uncomfortable format change to at least see what happens. That way, even if it fails, I'll live with no regret. Which leads me to talking about my upcoming surgery, because it's a relevant checkpoint, so to speak. I was planning to try this new approach and see how it fares until after my surgery and recovery, at which point I'd reflect on these past 5 to 6 months to see how I felt about all of it. But I guess I feel I lack a purpose. I don't think changing the format or my content or schedule will necessarily give that to me. When I first started YouTube, I wanted my content to be an escape for people to find entertainment, joy, or laughter. I don't know why, but I feel like I don't accomplish that anymore. And I've been working to see if that's something I can get back to, and if maybe that's where I'll find my purpose. In the meantime, though, it's been hard trying to prepare for the upcoming months due to my previously mentioned surgery. For those new or aren't aware, I've been dealing with some chronic jaw issues for almost 4 years now. After going through splint therapy for 2 of those, realized it wasn't going to fix the problem, and we resorted to the next step, which would be 2 separate surgeries. I had the first done last summer, which was exclusively used to allow me to get to the point where I am now, prepped and ready for the final surgery. I had to get braces a second time, this time with the express purpose of aligning my jaws to get ready for surgery. TLDR is they're breaking my upper jaw into a couple pieces, expanding it, moving it, and then wiring my mouth shut for anywhere from 1 to 2 months post-surgery. Now, this isn't the most dangerous surgery, nor is it life-threatening. I know a lot of people have had this surgery done. Realistically, recovery is just gonna suck, but there's 2 reasons why this surgery and the recovery are important enough that you need to know about it. 1, like I mentioned, the jaw will be wired shut. I won't be able to speak for probably the first week, but then after that, still be unable to record and make videos like I do now. I was in any other profession where I didn't need to talk, I could return within roughly 3 to 4 weeks. But that's not the case. So they're telling me to expect anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks before I'd be able to return. And I'd rather prepare for the worst and be surprised if it ends up being shorter. 2, my mouth is going to be wired shut. Sounds obvious, but what I'm most worried about is my mental health because of this. Last summer, the first surgery had me unable to eat anything but liquids for 1 week, soft foods for a couple days after, and then returning to more solid food. Not too bad, right? Well, I thought so too, until I was about 4 days in, liquids only, and had a mental breakdown. It's important to understand that my base, primal coping mechanism is food. When all else fails, there's food. But I realized what happens when almost all my coping mechanisms are gone. If I'm unable to lift weights and I'm unable to eat food, turns out ya boy's depression evolves into mega depression. With this next surgery, I might be stuck drinking liquids for nearly 6 weeks. It's not even the pain I'm worried about. It's that I might not be able to mentally cope with that fact for so long. Long story short, pray for your boy. Now, what I found helped a little bit was reading encouraging comments and letters from viewers like you to help ground me. Now, don't feel obligated to at all, but if you wanted to either comment down below, send me an email, or mail a letter to my P.O. box about maybe what my content has done for you or what you enjoy, I would really appreciate that. Now, personally, I would prefer physical letters. I have a couple giant folders with all the mail I've ever received, so that for the rest of my life, I have something physical to look back to and remind myself of this crazy journey. So I would really appreciate it. It would help me out a whole bunch, but again, if you don't want to, no pressure. For those curious, the P.O. box is always in the description below. So my confirmed surgery date is July 2nd, and I'm not expecting to be able to return to making videos until the end of August or start of September. So what does that mean for content? Well, I've tried my best to prepare for my absence, but given the nature of the kind of content I've been trying to make as of late, it's been a little difficult. There should still be a couple videos left to upload in June. Then in July, I currently have 2 videos slated and 1 for August. Now, for what it's worth, those 3 videos at the end, especially 2 of them, are huge projects that will be like literal movies. So although there won't be a lot of new content to watch while I'm recovering, hopefully the quality will make up for it. With that said, I am planning to upload all of my Elden Ring playthrough. You didn't see the video already. And hopefully the Elden Ring DLC playthrough over on Mr. Fruit Uncut during July until I've uploaded all of it. So that can be a constant series you could look forward to. This entire jaw escapade has been a nightmare, but I pray that after the surgery, it'll all be behind me. Now, I'll still have to wear the braces for another year to keep everything from shifting, but I'm just so ready to move on from this whole ordeal. And hopefully when I return, I'll have a better idea of what the channel's content will look like moving forward, because I know things have been changing for so long, and I really do apologize. I will say, though, that if you're ever looking for more of my content, I have been streaming pretty regularly this entire year with over 100 hours each month over on my Twitch. My username simply being Mr. Fruit. Upon my return, I intend to look into trying to duo stream to both YouTube and Twitch to see how that goes. So there might be some VODs up over on Twitch that you can still watch, or to check out the streams upon my return. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a couple streams late July or August. I'll probably be muted, but we can still vibe and hang out, and maybe figure out like a text-to-speech thing. So to bring it all around, thanks for sticking with me. I wanted to share this video with you all to illustrate where I was, where I've been, where I am, and possibly where I'm going. I have almost nothing in life figured out myself, and if it ever appears that way, I guess I'm a better actor than I thought. But maybe it might inspire some of you to maybe pick up a hobby you enjoyed and dropped some time ago. But if I have any words of wisdom to bestow in that regard, it's that first and foremost, do it for fun. Even though I always wanted to become a full-time YouTuber, that was never my driving factor. And maybe it's no coincidence that when I finally made it was when I just completely dropped that notion. But looking back, I had no prospects. no hope, and no idea what I was going to do with myself or my future. Yet, 10 years later, I sit here now in the wildest of circumstances. Life can be funny like that, so don't give up hope. To end it, I just want to say a genuine and heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you who has watched my videos. Whether it was one, some, or all of them, whether you're subscribed or not subscribed, a new or old viewer, you've all attributed to making this dream of mine a reality. You know how parents aren't supposed to have favorite kids? While I do love and appreciate all of you, I've got a soft spot for all those who have stuck around for so long and support anything I end up making. You're what keeps me going. I'll see you on the other side of my surgery. 07's house fruit.